Hello, everyone, and welcome to XM Live here at the Beginner's Room. This session I'm always very excited about because we are trading live. We are trading live based on my trading strategy. I show you in the first 15 minutes how my trading strategy works, and then we start to do practical. We trade. I'm a swing trader, so I hold positions normally for more than one day. And actually, I don't touch this trading account except in this hour. So I'm trading this 1 hour on a Thursday, and that's it. Not touching it anymore. After a week, we are checking that there is stop losses and take profits. We are checking what happened, and then based on and this is how we go on. Now I tell you, we started this year at about 2,200. I must say that there were some interruptions. There were a couple of weeks I didn't trade and I had a drawdown in this period. So we went from 2,200 to 3,000 and now we are back at 2,350, something like that, 2,400. So it's around a little bit less than 10% up and we were almost up 30%. So that's a little bit of pity. But still, I think what is unique on this project, it's absolutely transparent. And again, it's 1 hour per week. And it's just showing you don't have to be every day in front of the computer. You don't have to chase the 5-minute chart and the 1-minute chart. And normally, what happens when you trade too often, you trade too much. And what we are doing here is we trade on my trading strategy only once every week, and we are in profits. Majority of traders loses. So even though we have these limitations, and by the way, that we are trading it only once every week, it's just one limitation. There is a second limitation. I'm not trading what I want to trade. I am trading what you tell me to trade. So there is two limitations to my normal trading strategy, and we still make money. And I'm very proud of that because it just shows if you have a process and you go with your process, you should make money. By the way, there is a little bit another problem that we are having, but I will talk about this in a couple of minutes. But the US shutdown, is preventing from me to get the most important data that I need for my trading strategy. Hi, Jack. Great to see you. Hi, everybody else. So if you have any trading ideas, you want me to trade something, let me know in the chat and we go from there. By the way, I also welcome all those who are on Instagram, on other social media platforms that are watching us. So I will use now the first 10-15 minutes to explain my trading strategy. Jack is asking, how do you see the US dollar Mexican peso? Listen, in general, I'm optimistic for the Mexican peso, but you have to know that there is an interest rate decision tonight on the Bank of Mexico. So by gambling it today, it's maybe a little bit risky. Maybe wait for tomorrow. But we will check later the chart, and if you would like, we can also trade it. And Jack says Trump's lawyers are in the Supreme Court for tariffs also. That's absolutely true. So there will be a ruling if the tariffs are legal or not. And if they're not, then rewinding all the tariff stuff could be quite complicated also for trading wise. But let's get to that in a couple of minutes. Again, let me explain a little bit my trading strategy. So, oh no, now I just realized I have my German one. So let me just restart here. I'm so sorry about that. But this is my accent. You hear my accent. Mother language is German, but I wanted to bring it in English. Let me just bring it in here. Here we are having it. Okay, now it makes much more sense. Okay, so my trading strategy is built on 4 pillars. The first pillar that defines my trading strategy is talking about how do I analyze the markets. You know, there is many ways to analyze the market. It's not only one way. price action is not everything. So you can use indicators, you can use other things. But in trade identification, I define how I analyze the market. And in order to get consequent trading signals, in order to get profitable signals, you have to have a process that is repeatable. And in order to repeat something, you have to analyze it the same way. That's not a perfect way of analyzing things, but it's a certain way, and it's helping me to get consistency. Hi, William. Oh, nice to see you. I didn't see you I think for a couple of weeks almost. And probably the reason is that we don't have the COT report, but we will get to that in a second. The second pillar is about risk management. So it's not enough only that I analyzed the markets in the same way again and again and again. It's also important that when I go into a trade, I am always ready for the worst case scenario. I'm always prepared that the trade goes against me, and I have to calculate exactly how much do I gonna lose if it goes against me, and where do I get out at which point. So that's risk management, and it's the second pillar that defines my trading strategy. The third pillar, it's trade management. And with trade management, I mean, how do I analyze the market? Sorry, how do I forget that's trade identification? How do I manage open trades? Okay, it's not enough only to analyze the markets, to make risk management, to open the trade. You also have to manage the open trade. The idea in managing open trades is always maximizing profits, minimizing losses. And then the last pillar, which is not that important in our trading strategy that we are trading here, but when I trade on my personal trading account, this can become important. How do I manage the whole portfolio? Because I not only have 1 or 2 or 3 trades open, often I have 15 trades open. And I have to manage those 15 trades are not all long US dollar or all short US dollar or whatever, but there is a certain balance has to be within the orders in order not to risk too much. Okay, so this is the basic layer. Jack is asking, where do you see when the rate decisions are, Gil? Since XM changed the platform, I don't see where I can find that anymore. Actually, I'm normally, I look at different platforms, but there is a lot of economic calendar out. I normally, look, it looks, I can show you what I do. So this is my trading plan, okay? The weekly trading plan, you can see it here. The date is not right. I have to actually change the date to, what was it, 2nd of 11, 2025. And so you get here my main signals, but I also prepare a calendar for myself. And so, again, this is written in German, but you will get the idea. This is now Thursday, the 6th of November. And you see, I'm also interested in stocks. So I look also what kind of stock have quarterly reports. And I look at the news that are important for me. So by the way, I hope we can open a trade in the Norwegian krona because I think we have a very interesting decision there, situation there, technical wise, and we are after the interest rate decision. You see, interest rate decisions or news that are bold, they're very important. And you can see here we are having, and this is again German time, on Mexico, we have an interest rate decision. But there is a lot of economic calendars. By the way, there is every economic calendar has some advantages and some disadvantages. So some are economic calendars that are really prepared for Forex traders, other for stock traders, other for indices traders or commodity traders. So I look at multiple economic calendars over the weekend and I create my own calendar that is important for me. So when I start my trading day, I just see what is important for me today. So what we are having mainly is again Norwegian interest rate decision and then Mexico. And sorry, this should be bold. We have England, of course. Sorry about that. So we have free interest rate decision today. Okay, so that's it. But there should be also an economic calendar at XM. Okay, I go back to the presentation. So my trade identification, how do I analyze the markets? There are three levels, like an onion, three layers of analysis that I'm doing. The first layer is the fundamental analysis. I look what happens in the economy, and based on what happens in the economy, I believe markets will react eventually to that. The problem with fundamental analysis in general is it's not good timing tool. It's like if you understand the fundamental picture, eventually it will show in the charts and in the prices, but eventually can mean in a year or in 2 years or in a month or the fundamental picture also can change. So it's not really a good analysis for if you're a short-term trader. Now, I use this analysis just to get an overview. So I'm asking myself, what are the geopolitical risks? They say, okay, there are certain geopolitical risks. There is, of course, China-US tensions, but I think they got now eased a little bit because Donald Trump and Xi Jinping met 1.5 weeks ago in South Korea, and they made kind of a ceasefire. And so I think we will not get too much there on. There is even, now we have Taiwan and China, but it seems also that there is a certain agreement that there will be no attacks there. We have Russia, Ukraine. There the situation is unchanged since 2022. We have the Middle East, which they are in a ceasefire and things got much better there. So in general, the geopolitical picture, at least in my opinion, and what I am looking at, it got better, which is good, be good for the stock market. The second thing is the economy, and here I'm looking mostly at the US economy. I don't see a recession. So we see a weaker job market, but I believe the weaker job market and the data that we are getting, the reason for that is not that the economy is slowing down. The opposite is true. The economy getting hotter, but AI, many companies can release a lot of employees, and so their profits get bigger and bigger and bigger. Of course, more and more people don't have work, but the process is extremely slowly. And we are at 4.3% unemployment rate. Below 5%, it means full employment. So I would say the economic picture is quite good. We have maybe not really growth in Europe, at least not in Germany. And we have an interesting situation in Japan, but this is the big picture. Now, maybe to mention also on the big picture is that the stock prices are quite expensive. Okay, the historical scene. Maybe there is a justification, maybe there is no justification, but historically seen, the stock prices are expensive, not cheap. The PE ratio, I think, from the S&P 500 is 26. It should be on average around 20. So that's quite strongly above. Even a German DAX is not cheap. The NASDAQ is, I think, even 34 PE ratio, something like that. Over 30, definitely over 30. Expensive. Now, again, expensive doesn't mean a crash. I don't expect a crash, but I think a correction is possible. Okay, so this is the big picture. Now, the second layer of my analysis is the COT report. And the COT report is a report that is normally published by the US government, and it's published on Friday evening, and it shows me the market participants, how they're positioned. So I can see asset managers, I can see hedge funds, I can see dealers, I can see retail traders, and I know if they're either long positioned or short positioned, and I can see the changes week over week. And based on those information, this is very, very important for me. This is actually my main analyzing tool. And based on this information, I know what I want to trade and in which direction. Now, I have a huge problem. Why? We are at the moment in the longest shutdown of the US government. It's yesterday, I think we surpassed it, and we are 36 or 37 days into the shutdown, and the COT report is not published. It's not published.